Hi, this is Deborah. I just took my makeup off and I just thought of something extremely important that I need to let my YouTube friends know about, and that is how I got my disability. I never had to appeal the decision. I just kept going to the doctor thinking I had a bladder infection. My back just hurt all the time. And all these doctors would say, well, nothing's showing up, no bacteria in your urine, but we'll give you an antibiotic. Finally, I went to a chiropractor, and he, for some reason, gave me an x-ray. And then when it was developed, he sat me down in his office and talked to me probably for 45 minutes. Never in my life have I had a doctor talk to me for 45 minutes. He made this diagram of my whole spine from my neck all the way to my rear. And he kept making all these marks and writing all these words I never heard of. And I'm going, holy crap. So then I found out my Blue Cross insurance would only pay up to $500. Then a close member of my family was having a tumor taken out, and I knew I was going to stay there for a couple days. So I had an incredible back pain. So I just admitted myself to the ER while I was waiting for a close family member to come out of surgery. And I had driven like 5 hours. So I knew I was going to be, not leaving their side for a while. So I'm in the ER and I said, listen, I'm here for who knows how long. I want an MRI. And they gave me a hard time. So it's going to take like 12 hours to get you in. Well, I was in the machine within 20 minutes. And I noticed as I was coming out of the machine, the radiologist had this awful look on his face. And since I read people's body language, I knew it was bad. Then they told me I better call my husband in. He had to drive like almost an hour and a half. And he met me, and the doctor was trying to tell him everything that showed up on the MRI. I was listening intently. He was not. He was not. He should have listened, because let me tell you what, he found out in divorce court just how bad it was, because he really should have been listening, but it was a shock to him in the middle of court when I handed him disability papers from Social Security. But when I did the research, I went back to my doctor in Ocean City, and he sat me down and he goes, Debbie, he says, you are going to be disabled the rest of your life. It's degenerative. It's only going to get worse. Be prepared for it. Which just totally blew my mind. And I think he started to cry. He had just gotten disability, and he was only allowed to work so many days as a doctor, because you are allowed to work, you're just very limited because you can't. So I had the ability to either file for workers' comp or disability, and I chose disability, and it took me 2 hours a day for 2 weeks to do the paperwork. It probably took me a solid week just to gather the data that they needed in order for me to do the paperwork. I missed one of my appointments with their doctor, and all I did was submit this x-ray, MRI, and the chiropractor's notes, along with the radiologist's notes. And within 4 months, I didn't even get a letter or anything. They just put money in my bank account. And then I found out I was permanently disabled. And here I've been walking around with a herniated and a slip disc. And, of course, spinal stenosis. I had a laminectomy. But a lot of people, a lot of people have to do all this paperwork. Well, I always, every time I went to the doctor, I kept my own set of notes from the doctor. I highly suggest that. That cuts down, I think, your time considerably. Anytime doctor writes a note about you, you get them right then and there, because I think what holds up disability is the government has to write every one of your doctors. And I'd only gone to like 2 or 3 over a period of 6 months. So I didn't have this backlog because I had lived with this pain for so long. But keep your own notes, submit those, and submit those to Social Security. And when you fill out that that paperwork where they ask you how long can you stand, how long can you sit, you really got to be honest. Don't say you can do more than you can, because that's just going to hurt you. So I knew that if I stand more than 2 or 3 minutes, I got to lean on something, you know. So you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest what your capabilities are. You know, if it hurts when you drive, if it hurts when you bend over to do the dishes, you know, they're going to ask you all those questions. So I would have probably gotten mine within much sooner than 4 months, but I was in so much pain I couldn't even go to see their doctor. But when I did finally go, the doctor took one look at my paperwork and just checked, oh yeah, she's disabled. There was no doubt in anyone's mind. Now, I fought it in my own mind because I was only like 54 years old, and I thought I still had a lot of living to do. But if you're in pain and you don't agree with the doctors are saying, go do your own research. My rear end was going numb every time I would carry my wiener dog, who was overweight, up a set of stairs. My whole butt was numb, and I would be walking around town and almost dragging a foot. And the numbness started creeping down from my buttocks all the way down to my leg. It had almost reached my ankles. And now, 6 years later, it's now doing the same thing. So I know that there is more damage, but that's not part of this story. So you have to be diligent with your own medical paperwork. And a lot of doctors will make you pay for what they have to send in to Social Security. So you can cut the chase by having everything that they have in their file, you have, you know. I really think that hastened the decision for me. So I hope that helps you guys. And wish you well and good luck. Bye-bye.